Derrick Henry is a Raven, which is 100%. Like, if you could think of a Raven and know what their brand is and create someone in a lab to be a Raven, I think it's going to be Derrick Henry, right? Ray Lewis defensively. Roquan Smith is in that mold.
T-Sizzle.
You know, right? You're just thinking of somebody who's just muscles on top of muscles, who is just fearsome and to be feared and to be rolled downhill in an offense that likes to run the football. Derrick Henry as a Raven is a stroke of genius, certainly since it's $20 million for 2 years. And that's when if he earns everything. In the grand scheme of things, you're seeing money being handed out to tons of players on other sides of the ball, on the line and whatever. And obviously it's a team game, and it's so important to get the blocking scheme down, to get the other team's quarterback down, to defend a wide receiver, to have a wide receiver. But, man, Derrick Henry can control a game, and the Ravens, if they need help just putting a game in the oven and letting it cook, or putting a game in a freezer and ending it, he's the way to do it. Now, I understand the pushback might be, hey, this still doesn't handle things if you're down 10 to the Chiefs. How does this get you back in a game where you're not leading, that you're not playing from in front? And we'll see how the Ravens handle the rest of their free agency season and also their draft. But when you are talking to a fan base that is highly disappointed in a playoff result based on the regular season success, and that fan base is wondering, how are we going to finally get over the hump? One way to answer the question for your fans and also for the locker room to say, we're not going to just rest on the laurels of last year. We're going to add, and we're going to show everyone in the league that we mean business, is to go out and sign somebody like Derrick Henry. And that's all one big setup to say, what in the heck are the Dallas Cowboys doing? I told everybody when I came back from the Combine, in my top 5 rumors I heard at the Combine, that Jerry Jones's definition of all in isn't what you think it would be. All in is to go ahead and get Derrick Henry. Go ahead and get another weapon on offense for an offense that put up hardly anything on the Green Bay Packers in their one-and-done playoff loss of 2023. That's all in. By saying we're going to put the future on the credit card and we're going to get more people for this roster that was good enough. That was good enough to be the 2 seed. That was good enough to look so dominant over most this year. But instead, Jerry Jones's concept of all in is to make everybody on the team, including the quarterback and the coach, to play for this season for their next contract. Even if that means the quarterback has to play on an astronomical cap number. And it sure looks like what I heard at the Combine, that they were going to let Dak Prescott play on his cap number of damn near $60 million just so they can say, let's see if you can do it with no future dollars or years on your contract. Play for your supper here, sir. Instead of extending this quarterback and getting the cap space for someone like Derrick Henry. That, to me, is not a definition of all in. And we talk about it all the time. I play poker. To me, after you flop in the playoffs, all in is you go all in right after the flop. We're not seeing another card. We're going all in, and I'm pushing every chip that I currently have to the center of the table. And in free agency, that means you're adding to your stack before you go all in. You rebuy, right? You rebuy and you go all in. And you rebuy by making sure you have every possible chip you can have, which is Derrick Henry. or Saquon. The Eagles are going, that's all in, I think. Instead, what they've done is they've checked. They've checked off the flop. They checked. Go ahead. Let's see more cards. I'm sticking with what I got.
Hoping to hit. They got a straight draw.
And that's what he's hoping to hit. The straight draw. He's trying to suck out on the river.
That's right.
On the rest of the NFL. And I think the NFL, some of them might have already better hands. They're checking. As a matter of fact, everybody's got free agency trackers. We pulled this off of the NFL.com site because we're NFL.com people here. There you go. They re-signed their long snapper. That's how things are going right now. We are currently 25 hours into the new league year negotiating window. 25 hours. And the Cowboys have done the important work, all of it is, of re-signing their long snapper. Honestly, I told everybody, and they were in on Zach Moss, who went to the Bengals from the Colts, and he had a terrific breakout year because the Colts used him while they were waiting for Jonathan Taylor to come back from injury before signing him finally to a long-term deal. And Zach Moss, apparently, $4 million a year was too much for the Cowboys. And they're letting their left tackle go? Tyron Smith is going? Now, again, I'll give them the same benefit of the doubt to see what they do in the draft, and they could hit it. Let's say they get an offensive version of Micah Parsons, and they might need one at the running back spot.
There's a lot of talent in this draft coming up.
Now, I know that, but not so much at the running back position. Maybe they draft Blake Corum, my guy from Michigan. Maybe they draft him late in the first round. I don't know. Let's see what they do. Let's see who they add.
Definitely not. That's an offense. We're going line in the first round.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. And the Dallas Cowboys, because they were one and done. They're 24th on the clock. I don't know. You're going to have to figure out that spot, and you can get, again, I know you get Isaiah Pacheco in the 7th round, and he wins 2 Super Bowls in a row, and that's the way it's done now for teams that feel like their roster's already set. But this is one of the wildest stories of this year is Jerry Jones's reaction to losing to the Green Bay Packers is to check the flop. That's not all in. All in is the other way. But he's going, I guess, all in on his belief that the roster is winning, and the only thing that's missing is the sword of Damocles hanging over their head by an NFL playoff thread. That's what's missing is the threat of no longer being a Cowboy. And I proffer to say Dak, probably cares a lot about being a Cowboy, but seeing what Kirk Cousins has made his entire career, playing out franchise tag to franchise tag to 3-year deal to 3-year deal to 3-year deal, making what? He's closing in on $400 million of his playing career if he plays out his entire Falcon contract. And he went from the Vikings to the Falcons. I mean, does it mean that much to him to be a Dallas Cowboy? Like he's going to try harder? It's really a weird way of going about it. It really is. Extend him, keep him there for at least 2 more years, get the cap room and get somebody more than your long snapper. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern for free.